Alright guys, gonna be building a 5x10 lean-to shed behind my 20x20 shed. So this is gonna be for like lawn equipment, you know, some smaller items. But already got process started here, got the grass cleared out, and we got 4 corners here. We're gonna use concrete blocks and put about 6 inches of gravel under the block, and then we got 4x6 treated posts. These will go on the ends, and then the 2x6 framing will sit on here. So I'll probably just after each step I'll kind of film what I did. All right, follow along. All right, we got the concrete blocks where they should be. We got the runner 4x6 runners set. Everything's level front to back, side to side. And I put some treated 2x4s here on each end, just to kind of keep the distance and kind of keep everything where it should be. So up next we'll put some plastic down. We got some river rock to put under here, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we'll put down some aluminum screen here, so maybe this will help, you know, keep the rodents at bay. So then we'll put the plastic on top of this, and then we'll put the rock on the plastic. Alright, got the plastic down, got the river rock in. We'll just tidy up the ends here. We got Jasper supervising. Alright, this is where we're at. Got the floor framed up, 2x6 treated. Did double rim joists, so I used these 3-inch screws to attach the joists. So it's these here. I find it annoying when people do YouTube videos, they don't show you what kind of hardware they use, so I'm going to try to do that every step here. So 16-inch on center, so I did 3 of these per joist. For the outer joist I used just 3-inch screws here. And then use those 3-inch screws for these plates here to attach to the skids. And then I'm going to use some scrap pieces here to seal this off so critters don't live in here. So that'll go like that. And then I got some Advantech. So I did some research. This seems like pretty good flooring. So I picked this up at Lowe's. So that's where we're at so far. So the next step, we'll get the flooring on. Alright, got the flooring on. It's just a 3/4 inch Advantech. Use 1 5/8 inch screws to put it on. And then I did cut like pieces of rubber back here so the weeds won't grow. Okay, so we'll frame this back wall next. Alright, we got the back wall framed up. And these are LP Smart Side siding that I'm going to use. So I got 3 pieces for a 10 foot long wall, and putting them on with some 1 3/4 inch galvanized. I'm sure you could use screws just as well, but I didn't cut this at all. So my wall is 87 inches high, and that's including the double top plate. And then this piece is going to go on the top like this. So I added, you know, 3.5 inches here. And then on the bottom, this is about 5.5 inches. This will cover the framing. So we'll get this attached. And then I got a couple of vents I got 2 of these, so I'm going to put 1 on each side. So I'll put some silicone around there, because once the wall is up I can't, you know, get these on, so I got to do it now. So I'll finish this up, then we'll put some paint on it. Alright, so all the walls are up. Used 3.5 inch screws to secure the walls down, and then you know, use some screws to attach walls to each other. Got the vents up there. So these studs are 68.5 inches, and then you got bottom plate, and then this front wall is gonna have 2 top plates. Got the 32, it's about 32 1/4 rough in for the door. Got my trailer door over there. Got the window, got this window on Amazon. I'll put a link in this description. But this is a 12-inch wide window, I think by 18. So no big box store had a window that small. So this is just, you know, there wasn't much room here. So that'll fit good. So up next, we got some 7/16 OSB to put on the walls. And then when I framed this in, this bottom plate went across. I took my saw and I cut these. So the door rests right on the floor. Alright, since the last video, I got the wall sheathing on. This is 7/16 OSB. Got the trusses up, got the subfascia on. Go inside and take a look. And this is the trailer door. I just got it kind of temporarily on here for now. But window's gonna go there. So I got hurricane ties, and then I did, you know, kind of bird mouth these. So that's what it looks like up there. And so I thought I was gonna be able to get away with just one top plate, you know, on the end walls, but the problem is, I wish I would have put the door maybe over here, because the fascia is going to get awfully close. So that's why I'm doing 2x4 fascia instead of 2x6, because the clearance here isn't that much, but I'll make it work. But so yeah, this is where we're at. So I got all the soffit, fascia, and drip edge. The clay color to match this. I got all that a couple days ago. Yeah, it's coming along. Hopefully it gives you some idea. So I think this ended up being about a 312 pitch. So I don't want anything less than that. I'll put the roof sheathing on. I got 5/8 OSB. A little bit overkill, but it's only a few bucks more than 1/2 inch. And then I went 16 on center for these trusses, same as the wall. And these are just 2x4s. And then I'm doing a 6-inch overhang. On this side and this side. And then on the door side, I want a little bit more protection from rain, so this is about 10-inch overhang. Okay, got the roof sheathing on, and it's 5/8 OSB, and I used 1 5/8 screws for the sheathing. And then I got underlayment on, and I got this front drip edge on so far. I just need to do the sides now. It says use no staples on this, but honestly the roofing nails go through this anyway. I just put a few staples on to hold it. Alright, it's roofing day. We got Jasper to help. Right, buddy? So we got starter strips, and then we got some bark wood shingles, and those will match that. Get the starter strip on. I got some chalk line, get some lines up there, and we'll get started. Alright, starter strip is on. So this first one here, I cut 6 inches off, because when you do the full shingle, you don't want the seam where this is gonna meet. So you got good distance here. And then this corner, you kind of 45 it so you get the tar exposed right there. So go ahead and put the shingles on. And now we got a 1/2 inch overlap too. Alright, shingles are on. I'll show you what I did for the top flashing there. So I did buy this coil stock and I thought I could bend it by hand, but as you can see, that just wasn't gonna work. So I found this brown drip edge at Home Depot, and this is actually a little bit bigger than their standard size, so this came down where I needed it to go. So that worked out pretty well. Alright, so onto the F channel. Alright, got the F channel on. Give you a closer look here. So I didn't realize too that they make this soffit return J channel. So I had to go run and get that piece. I was trying to figure out how the heck F channel works here, and it doesn't. You need this piece. So goes right up against here, and then that looks, the end looks like that. And I got some soffit on the other side, I'll show you that. So I got this side on. Alright, so I'll continue putting this soffit on. And I'm using these 3/4 inch screws to mount it right here. Alright, got this side on. And I wanted to show you this little detail here. So I just bent this piece down right here, and that's how it fits in this J channel. And we'll just keep going up. Alright, first piece of fascia is on. And I ended up using a paper template to get this corner. And then this is a full 12-foot piece. So it just about makes it. And then I just reversed the folds and made this corner here. So now I'll work on these side pieces. Okay, got this side on, and I do have some clay colored nails that I'm using, and I'm actually pre-drilling this bottom just so I don't dent that aluminum. Soffit pieces I'm just cutting with the aviation snips. Okay, second side is done. I think it turned out pretty good considering I've never done this before. And I had some extra fascia, so I did use this kind of as a template. So if you do this, I'd highly recommend getting a few extra pieces so you can kind of mock it up and ruin one and then make a good one. So up next, I think I'll put the window in and get this door installed. Right now it's just kind of temporary, just got a couple of screws in it. And then after that we can move on to siding, get the J channel on and get this thing buttoned up. Okay, got the Tyvek cut here, and I picked these, they're called Sure Corner. Picked these up from Menards a while back, figured I have them, might as well use them. And then your Tyvek, you want to cut it like this, so this will go over your top seal. Otherwise the water will come down underneath. And then we're also gonna put some silicone on the inside here. Okay, windows installed. Got some flashing tape went around it. So do your bottom first and the sides and the top. Okay, now put the door in. I had some extra flashing tape, so I got that on the frame here. And then I'm just gonna use 1.5 inch or 1 5/8 screws to put them in there. This is kind of a mixture in here. Brand new door for an enclosed trailer. It's 32 inches. It's got deadbolt. So as far as trim, I found this black PVC trim at Menards. So I'm gonna notch a groove here to cover this flange. So I'll probably just run this through the table saw, and then that'll go on there like that. Okay, I got this trim on around the door. Kind of see how that turned out. Pretty happy with that. And then I couldn't resist. I started on the siding, got these corners on. Got the starter strip. So I like to hang the corners 1 inch below the siding. So like that, and I put the starter strip over the corner like that. Got the J channel up here. This corner's on. So now I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the siding on this wall. And I still didn't put the J channel on this side. I don't need to yet. And then this corner needs to be put on yet. All right, got a few rows on. You wanna make sure you don't drive the nails tight. You wanna be able to move this piece once it's on. And you wanna leave a little bit of a gap so when the sun hits it, heats up, it's got somewhere to go. All right, this wall's done. And I don't think I mentioned it, but I'm using these 2 inch nails for the siding. And then started on this wall. Got this corner post on. And don't really have a way to attach this side. But it seems to be holding, just got the nails on this side. So I think it might be all right. Maybe think of something in the future. But got the J channel on up here. And then got the starter strip on. So I went to Harbor Freight yesterday, got this 3 inch cutoff wheel. Should have bought one of these a long time ago. So it makes pretty easy work of cutting the siding. Okay, this side's done. And I made some progress on the door side. So I got this side done. These are like little 3 inch pieces here. And I slipped them in, just kind of pulled the J channel back and get them in there. And got the window trimmed out. Turned out pretty good. Just went right up to the corner here. And then right here, I'm gonna put this RV shore power plug-in. Got this on Amazon. I'll throw a link in the description. So that's got a double end on it. And then there's this universal block. So I'll just center this up like that. And I'll just cut this hole right in the center of this next piece of siding here. So it'll look like that. And then just got these kind of as a placeholder for the header for the ramp. It's a 2x6. Alright, so go ahead and get this wall done. Alright, door side's done. Got the electrical plug in there. So now moving on to the ramp, I gotta put a piece of OSB right here. so the header can sit flush against this. All right, got the ramp done. And got some vinyl plank flooring in here. Used to have this in the house, but we took it up, so it was just kind of sitting around, so I figured I'd throw it in here. Didn't quite have enough there, but... And then I put a shelf in back here. Just a couple 2x4s, and then leftover roofing sheathing.